Hello and welcome to my video. So in this video I'll be going over both Notion and Libby. So Libby is a mobile app that you can use to read and listen to different audiobooks from your public library. And Notion is, of course, the well-known planning kind of notebook app, and I use Notion to do my reading list. So keep track of all the books that I'm reading and the books that I want to read. And so I'll be showing you how I use those today. So I'll start off by showing you how I use the Libby app. So with Libby, this is me opening up on my phone. This is the home screen, the landing page, I guess. So you see an area called shelf, then loans, holds, tags, reading now, and actions, the actual title that I'm reading, recent returns. It was all the returns that I've previously read, of course. And I've, as you can tell, read a lot this month. So I'm going to start by showing you off to the different key sections, which are library and shelf on the bottom. So within library, this is where you get different suggestions and recommendations. So there's also curated collections by librarians and other collective groups and such. So in here you can see all the different ones I get from my public library, which is the New York Public Library. You can also look up categories and genres, and of course just do the regular old search at the top of the page. But as you can see, there are a ton of recommendations if you don't know where you want to start off. Literally anything that you can think of, it'll come up here. So we're going back up to the top where I'm showing you the search bar. You can look for books, audiobooks, magazines, and other things in here. And now we're back, we're going to go to shelf. So this is my shelf. So it's currently holding what I'm reading now and my previous returns. Kind of the landing page is shelf. It's a bit confusing. But yeah, this is my current loan. You can have max 3 loans at a time as well. I only have 1 right now. And you can also see my holds and tags in this section. So right now I have 2 books on hold. One is an ebook and the other one is an audiobook. The first is coming soon and the second one is going to come in 13 weeks. Very popular book, but at least I can put a hold on it this far in advance. I like that it tells me when the books are coming as well. So within here, you can also have 3 holds, and you can synchronize your shelf or you can suspend all your holds since you are maxed out at 3. Next up is tags. So they come with a thumbs up and a thumbs down, and I have this book stack one for all the books that I want to read soon. So once I'm done reading whatever's in my loans and my holds, I move these over in increments from holds to loans depending on if they're on a wait list or not. I also wanted to show you that you can see all of the hold content. So like I can see where I am in line and how many books there actually are from my library. So I can have an idea of when the book will actually be ready for me. So this is the actual interface when it comes to listening to my audiobook. I have all the chapters listed, of course. And there's a play, go back 15 seconds, forward 15 seconds. I can change the playback speed, increase it, if for some reason I want them to speed up. There's also a timer where the audiobook stops. I like to go at the end of the chapter, but you can also do if you have set amounts of time, like 15 minutes or 30 minutes, or you can just have it off and just listen forever. There is also the bookmarks and highlights tab. So in here is where I would have my bookmarks. I don't really bookmark things, and the last little bookmark is where I would do my bookmarks, and I could write notes and color coordinate them as well. Scrolling back down, this is how it would look if I were to place a hold. So I can play a sample, place a hold, or do a reading journey, or tag it. And I can also see that before I place the hold that the book would be ready for me in 3 weeks. I already read this book, but still. And also I can see when I read this book and in the speed of which I read the book. And in the upper right hand corner of the top of the page is the little library icon. That's where you check your library, and that's the end of the Libby app. And now I'm going to show you how I use Notion to keep track of all the books that I'm reading, the books that I want to read, and all of that. So what you can see right now is my desktop, and here I am clicking Notion, and this is my reading list. So this list is organized in a few different ways. So I keep the top of the page pretty empty, just saying reading list and a emoji of a book. And then I have my main column, which is where I keep most of my info about the books, which is the format, title, status, author, rating, should I own the book, recommended by, and the month itself. Within the format section, I have audiobooks, books, ebooks. So those are just how I keep track of how I'm like addressing the different types. I'm switching some now as I realize I read over it in different ways, and I'm constantly adjusting this, seeing as I try to finish at least one book a month. Not a month, sorry, one book a week. I'm doing several a month, and I kind of need to calm down right now. But in the second column, just the titles and everything. This is mainly so I can keep track of all the books that I'm reading, because before I had a list like this, I would forget what books I had read, and then, looking back into my childhood, I don't know which YA books I read. I just know I read a lot. So now I would like to be able to keep a good record, especially since one day I do want to build a library, and this can help me pinpoint the books that I've read in the past that I want to later on take with me. Author lines, there are some blanks in the author lines just for like some classics, just because I don't know it. I do also have a rating separate from should I own it, just because like if a book is great but I feel like I'm never going to reread it, like that should be clear to me as well. And then I have recommended by, like who's recommending these books to me, just because like sometimes different places and different people recommend different books, and I get a vibe just off like who is doing what, So I have like the first list is like everyone, because it's Barack Obama's book, and it's recommended by everyone. It's a New York Times bestseller. I'm not going to give that credit to anyone in particular, but I also have recommendations from friends and like YouTube videos that I watch, and just other randomness as well. And I'm also on the far right hand side keeping track of the month of which I read the books. This goal of like reading more and tracking my list down started in January, so that is why I'm listing all the books that I've read. I kind of am planning to slow down, seeing as I feel like I was over consuming and I wasn't really digesting, but here I am adding another book to the list, so maybe I'll slow down after my next book. But on the bottom over here, you can see I just have a few authors listed that I haven't really decided on the book to later on to choose to actually read at some point. I just know I want to read from that author at some point, not quite sure when. But yeah, this is it. It's a pretty basic, boring layout, but it works for now, and I'm pretty happy with it.